two types of sweet potatoes here. I've got the sort of red skin Caribbean type and the sort of orange skin. Yeah, they've been sitting on the counter here for about, I don't know, 5-7 days or something. So you'll notice it started to have these blemishes and stuff like that. But this is the one they call yams in North America. And I'm going to be using both. You can use either or. It's totally up to you. With both of them, you're going to sharp paring knife. And it might be easier if you cut it up into smaller pieces. But you can use a potato peeler, and then you can see the inside of that orange skin one, what they call yams in North America. And I'll show you the inside of the Caribbean red or purple skin one. Notice the difference in color. So all I'm going to do is use a paring knife, and in this case I have to go a bit deeper because I have these sort of blemishes here. When you're buying it, make sure it's nice and smooth, a beautiful consistent color on the outside. But again, it was like that when I first got it, but I kept it on the counter and it gradually started to disintegrate on me here. So all I want to do is peel it, like I said, with a sharp paring knife or with a potato peeler, and that's all you would do. Then you would cut it up into chunks. And again, I'm only peeling it deep because of those blemishes that I'm seeing there. But you can go a lot thinner than that. With this one, which isn't all that blemished, I can certainly go thin. Notice how nice and thin I'm making the peel. Go ahead, do that, wash them, and then chop it up into big cubes. Potatoes all peeled, cubed up, nice big pieces. And you know, you can personalize this to how big the pieces you want it to be, right? What I forgot to mention though, with the Caribbean style red skin sweet potato or purple skin potato, I don't know if you guys can see that, but that there is sap. So, and here as well. Wear gloves or coat your hands with some vegetable oil, or you risk getting that sap. It's very sticky, and I washed it a couple of times. But we have that potato now. The oven is preheating to 400 degrees. So it's now time to season it. Black pepper. And I'm doing this recipe for dinner, and I thought, hey, why not? We have not done a meat-free Monday in a while, so why not? You can use coconut oil. I like olive oil, and I'm going to go in with a good drenching of olive oil, maybe about 2.5 to 3 tablespoons of that olive oil, because I want to make sure everything gets coated. And I will mix this around with my hands off camera. Of course, you'll need salt, and I'm using sea salt. You will notice I will not use any honey or any brown sugar, as you would see with most recipes online, because let's allow the beauty, the sweetness of that sweet potato. It's called sweet potato for a reason. By roasting it, it concentrates and caramelizes that sugar and brings out all that sweetness. However, if you're a little child and you want to put brown sugar, you rub that brown sugar. Speaking about child, if you're cooking for your little ones, don't use the pepper flakes. I like the pepper flakes in here. Just gives it a nice little kick. A herb that I'm not the biggest fan of, rosemary. Yeah. Funny thing is, all winter it's been in the garden. It's still there. Maybe it knows I don't like it and it won't be used. But a tablespoon of that chopped up in this sweet potato, I tell you, it works. And I love fresh thyme. So in goes the leaves of the thyme. Just gonna take the leaves off, sprinkle that baby in there. Dried thyme is not my, I'm not the biggest fan of dried thyme. The other thing I like putting in there, I have 4 shallots. All I did was I peeled them and I cut them in half, and that's just going in there as well too. That's gonna get a good mix now. Like I said, if you wanted to add a bit of honey, it's totally up to you. If you wanted to add a bit of brown sugar, totally up to you. However, don't sleep on this one. We do need some garlic, and I've got 3 small cloves of garlic that I'm gonna crush in here. And that's it. I will also use the inside sort of peel hard part that's going in there. Waste not, want not, as mommy would say. I'm gonna go in with my hands now. I'm gonna give that a good mix. I'm gonna lay it out on a roasting tray, which I will line with parchment paper just to make cleanup later just a little bit easier. So there we go. It's on my roasting tray, lined with parchment paper. If you want to use foil, you can use foil. If you don't want to line it, you don't have to. It just makes cleanup later a lot easier. It's gonna go uncovered into that oven, 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Sup soldiers, listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me. Email address down here. I mean, trying to tell people the email address, them butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pot. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irie? 35 minutes later, and this is what we're left with. After 15 minutes, I flipped them over. So yeah, I did. You do have to go in there and toss it. I forgot to mention earlier, the reason why I like adding the shallots in there, it gives it a lovely sort of onion garlic flavor as it roasts in the oven. It perfumes everything. And speaking about that onion garlic flavor, I like to finish off with some chopped up spring onion. Some of you call it scallion, green onions. Just gonna toss that on there, and there you go, a lovely meat-free dish. You know, the thing is, when I was growing up in the Caribbean, Mommy would never roast sweet potatoes. What she would do is boil it in lightly salted water, and that would be part of our Sunday lunch. Chrissy at CaribbeanPot.com, always a pleasure having you guys here in the kitchen with me. A lovely roasted sweet potato, some of you call it yam, but I'm telling you, but now remember I said if you want to add a bit of honey on there, a bit of brown sugar, but the more sweet that you add to it, it may tend to burn on you, and this is what happened to the onion, the top layer of the skin of that shallot, not onion, shallot. It took on some color. Irie? Irie.